What up, everybody? It's your boy Saul G coming at you again live. Man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you're sharing the show. Make sure you're liking the show. If you're watching us over there at YT, make sure you go ahead and comment. Let me know you're in the chat. I got a real good show for you tonight. So once again, make sure you're sharing the show with your friends. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to Libre TV on all the various platforms. So, just make sure you do that. I want to welcome everybody to the Pollywood Podcast. If you've never watched this show, basically, the focus of the show is normally about people who are involved in what we call polyamorous relationships. But I also like to discuss, because I'm waiting on some interviews for that type of stuff. So I'm waiting on some polyamorous couples to come on the show. But for tonight, for the show, we're just going to talk about monogamy, right? We're going to talk about the majority of people, what they do and things like that. And the title of tonight's show was "Where Have All the Good Men Gone?" Okay, so I think first of all, and like I said, there's going to be a time where I'm gonna put the links on Facebook. I'm gonna put the links in Twitter. So there will be a time that you can call in, probably in about 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up because I want to interact with the audience tonight. So let's first of all, this is my definition of what a good man is. First of all, because I think a lot of people say, "Oh, there are no good men." That's what women say. There are no good men left. All the good, when I was growing up, I heard the old saying, "All the good men are in jail or sometimes married." So that was something that I heard a lot growing up. So this is how I define a good man. And I apologize because I saved this as an MP4 instead of just a photograph. So I'm going to have to put it up probably more than once. But here we go. A good man, a noun, means a man that is financially, physically, and off screen. I think it says responsible for his family and his affairs, right? So that's basically what I feel like a good man should be doing. That means you take care of your family, the different aspects that women look for. The financial side, obviously, right? Because women not necessarily want to be taken care of, but that is security. The second part, physical, that's the security part. That is the protection part. And then the last part was the spiritual part. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's religious. It just means like you're supposed to be a spiritual leader as well in your home, in your relationship, whatever the case may be. They should be able to lean on you from a spiritual perspective as well. So it's not necessarily religion. It just means that you got to be able to connect to something to be able to kind of sort of move through. So I'm going to go ahead and do my icebreaker tonight too, because I wanted to talk about this. And this is so when you call in, hopefully you're paying attention right now. So when we get to this, I'm going to probably ask you a little what your opinion is on this question. And I want you, like I said, if you're in the chat, man, I want to know what you're thinking. But my icebreaker for the night before, like I said, I open the live calls up, is this. This is basically for men, but I want the women to give me the equivalent. And the icebreaker is, would you let your significant other work at Hooters? Okay. Now, when it says Hooters, it's no knock to Hooters. I'm just saying, like, in Atlanta, we got like a place called Twin Peaks. Another place called, of course, Hooters is more nationwide, but there's another one called Twin Peaks, Hooters, and I can't think of the last one right now, the Tilted Kilt. And they're all kind of sort of sexually explicit, not really like they're not a strip club or nothing like that, but the women are, I guess, scantily clad, right? Would you have a problem if your wife worked there or your significant other? And then what I want the woman to ask is either A, I want to know would you work there? But number two, I want you to think for a second. And I know for me, I'm going to give my answer first. Then, like I said, I'm going to kind of open things up a little bit because I really want to talk to the people, because I want to know how you define a good man. If you think any good men are out there, my opinion is really irrelevant. You know what I mean? Because I'm not looking for a good man. So this show is mostly for the, for the women. I mean, if you like men and you a man, I guess that's cool too. But this is basically for women who are looking for men. If you want to call in and talk about where those men are at, I don't know if you black, come to Atlanta. There's plenty of them here. So, yeah, I just want to, the women to be able to ask themselves, where would I not want my husband to work? Where would I not want my boyfriend to work? If I was dating somebody and you went on a date and he said, I work blank. Okay, I work at blank. Would you continue to date him? And sometimes I know people say, well, you got to make your money. You got to get your money any way you can. But I still wonder, like, is there that kind of sort of Hooters, tilted kilt type of equivalent for men? So I want to get the ladies' opinions on that. But like I said, I'm going to definitely open things up here in a second. But I just want to give my opinion first. I think good men are extremely rare based on my definition. I think that baseline definition that I gave, spiritually, financially, physically responsible for his household. Those men are rare only because it's like when you start adding on the personal characteristics, we haven't got the morals, we haven't got what he looked like yet. Is he tall? Does he work? We haven't, the work part, yeah, with the financial aspect, but we haven't really even gotten into those wants that you want. To me, I'm feeling like when you first baseline decide, okay, this is a good man, he will have all those qualities, but we haven't got into the good part. You know what I mean? Is he good in bed? How does he make you feel? Is he romantic? All those other things. But just to be those three things, I think is extremely rare. If I had to put it at what percentage of men qualify for that, I'm going to say 5% of men qualify for that. And that's not even, I'm talking about just working. I'm not talking about how much money you make or anything like that. So when you start going to the financial part, ladies, when you call in, you can kind of sort of give a little bit more of a definitely what you would prefer, because that's who I really want to hear for. I want to hear from the good men out there, who believe that, or believe they're good men. You know what I mean? So I want to hear from y'all out there, and then I also want to hear from ladies, because I want to get a definition about what you believe a good man is. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post the link to call in. And once again, when you call in, I'm gonna explain to you how it works. Okay, when you call in, all right, it will bring you onto the screen. Okay, and when it brings you into the queue, okay, I need for you to basically, it's just gonna have a area for you to kind of sort of be backstage. I'm going to bring you on, and I'm going to ask you. So make sure whatever name you want to be called by, just type that in. So I'll ask you. Shout out to my boy Jeff showing up. He said, "You think only 5% of men are good?" That's depressing. No, well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you want to go to the other side, what percentage of women are good? I'm not going to talk about that because we're not on the women tonight. We're going to focus on the men tonight. But that meet all those qualifications, yeah, a good man, just in my book. But like I said, my book doesn't matter. I just wanted to give a baseline definition so we have somewhere to start. So let's say, for example, Jeff wanted to call in and say something. Okay. Then once you get in the background and once I call in you, I will say, "Hey, Jeff, do you want to be on screen or you just want audio?" But I need to see you first just so I can make sure ain't nobody just coming in trolling. So I need to at least see somebody behind the screen. So I need to know who it is. And then, like I said, I'm going to ask you, do you want to be on screen? And then you can say yes, no, whatever the case may be. If you don't want, I'll say, okay, you may turn your camera off, and then I'll bring you on. So I'm going to go ahead and do this a little early because, like I said, I really want to talk to some people tonight. So let's go ahead and get into it. And like I said, you might want to watch to the end because you might have a chance, if you call in, to spin this wheel that I kind of made. I hope it works. But yeah, it's supposed to be a wheel that spins, and it's going to be some money at it. So if you got Cash App, go ahead and get your Cash Apps ready. So it's going to be a random caller. I don't know which number caller is going to be the one for the Cash App. It might be more than one. It might not. But, it's just going to depend on how things go. But let's go ahead and open up the phone lines real quick. And here we go. All right. So, like I said, I know I told people about 8:15, so we still got a couple more minutes before it's technically supposed to be open. But like I said, I wanted to open up a little early. And like I said, I want to go back and discuss what Jeff said. Jeff said, you think only 5% of men are good. That's depressing. I think that, it gives men a lot to strive for. If only 5% of us are good or quality men, then either A, if you're in that 5%, right, then it means that you're holding yourself to a higher standard. If you're not in that 5%, it gives you something to attain to. But I still think we can widen that margin. But it's not really going to happen until people, first of all, they're going to have to set the rules and design what it is that they want to talk about first. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be very difficult to set, it's going to be very difficult to kind of sort of establish something. When you start talking about good men or bad men, whatever the case may be, it's going to be a difficult thing to, to basically, like I said, get a baseline for that. So my definition, it might be more than 5%. Somebody could say a good man is a man that is that works hard and is faithful. That could be their definition, and then that could increase the percentage. So I really think that it's going to depend on it's going to depend on what your personal definition is. The only reason why I gave that basic definition is because I was just like, we want to have something established. So let me see something right here, because that was another thing I wanted to talk about. And then, like I said, remember, ladies, if you didn't miss it already, when you call in, I am going to ask you our icebreaker question of the night. You know what I mean? Which was this: would you let your significant other work at Hooters? That's for, the men that call in as well. But when I'm talking to the ladies, basically what I'm trying to ask you is there a place that you would not feel comfortable with your husband working where he would either A, be hit on a lot, or it'd be a lot of temptation for him? Is there anything that you can think of that might qualify like that? For me, I think of Hooters. I think of a place, like I said, that once again in Atlanta called the Tilted Kilt. I think of what else? The Tilted Kilt and dang, I lost my train of thought right now. But if you know those type of places, then like I said, you can feel free to comment those or whatever the case may be. But while we waiting on somebody to call in, I just want everybody to know that the Pollywood Podcast is brought to you by GoodMoneyPicks.com. So we'll go ahead and play that real quick.
Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex on.
All right, so yeah, we just started NFL picks, and I think last week there was 7 out of 10. So yeah, if you get in this gambling and all that good stuff, you might want to check in and call in with that. But once again, like I said, I want to hear from the ladies tonight, man. I want to hear what your opinions is. So you can either type, text. I kind of want to hear what you believe a good man is. I want to know how would you define it. If you were here at the beginning of the show, this real quick, I'll just go back to that again. This is how I defined it. And I just basically said it's a noun. It's a man that's financially, physically, and spiritually responsible for his family, children, and affairs. All right. So the other part of that I want to kind of talk about a little bit, because it's in the beginning intro, is his affairs. I think it's one thing to make a lot of money while you're here, right? I think it's another thing to make enough money that then goes off to, when we talk about generational wealth and things like that. So handling your affairs, making sure your family is not worse off when you decide to leave this earth is definitely a sign of a good man, because a good man wouldn't want to leave his family worse off, because number one, if he's not going to be there, right, then you would want that man to be able to make sure that his family, if you're married, you would want your wife to be taken care of. If you have kids, you wouldn't want your kids to, number one, not even have enough to bury you. Sometimes that's what it is. A lot of times people will not get their life in order. And when they don't get their life in order, like that's to me, definitely a good part of being a good man, because once again, It's not necessarily sometimes about what you do while you're on this earth. It's about the impact that you make while you're on this earth. So I really think that, that is a solid definition. The spiritual aspect, I kind of want to break that down again. I'm going to go, and I'm not going to really get religious to that aspect of it, but I do want to talk about what a spiritual leader is, or, you being spiritually responsible. Number one, it means that, there we go. Shout out to Sam out there, man. My old homie from high school, man. She told me about a funny story. She remembers me wrecking in front of her house. I'm not gonna tell you how I wrecked, but that's another show for another day. But let's see what Sam had to say. She says, I think good men are the ones that us as women don't think twice about. She said, honestly, the first time my man tried to talk to me, I rolled my eyes at him. Huh. So based on what she's saying, it sounds like I'm not gonna try to talk for her, but it sounds like, let's just break down what she said. She said, like, good men are the men that are ignored. I don't know. I think that's a very valid point because, there's a lot of things that say nice guys finish last, or people will say things about, good guys and all of that stuff. But, I think that's a really good point because sometimes good women might think the same thing. They might say, "Oh, men want a woman that looks a certain way," especially with the whole Instagram, the Instagram model. And I know a lot of people are doing all these different surgeries, and there's a lot of different things going on now these days. So I even think the perception of what a good woman is for men is different. But yeah, I must agree. I do believe that that is a good thing, man. So I'm gonna agree with you, Sam, and I appreciate your comment, man. Thank you for watching. Yeah, what do y'all think about that? I want to hear y'all comments, and I want to know what you think because I think that's a good thing. I think if a good man is somebody that you might not be into the first time. I think that sometimes, and it might be more of a physical attraction sometimes, right? And doesn't necessarily mean that good people aren't attractive. It just means like sometimes, I feel like there are like levels to beauty. There are levels to just attractiveness, right? You have the people who are, beautiful all the time. You have the people who are just, I think it's universal, for the most part. But it looks like I got my first caller in the building, and apparently I'm gonna assume that you turned your camera off because you don't want to be on camera. But let's go ahead and bring in Miss Joy. Let's see what she has to bring to the conversation. Joy, how you doing? I think your mic is muted because I can't hear anything right now. If y'all can hear Joy in the chat, just let me know. But I can't hear her right now. So let me go ahead and try to take her out and bring her back in, and maybe that might fix it. Hold on one second. All right, let's try this again. All right, Miss Joy, can you hear me? All right, Jeff is saying he cannot hear Joy. So Joy, I think when it asks you to get access to your mic, okay, let's try the second, Joy. Here we go. So remove that one. All right, Joy, you're in the building. Hello, Joy, we can hear you now. Oh, I'm hearing myself. Joy, can you hear me? Oh, we got.
Yes,
Oh, there we go. There we go. Hi, Joy. How you doing? Where you calling from, Joy?
I'm calling from Georgia.
You're calling from Georgia. Okay, so we've had a little commentary about what defines a good man. How would you define a good man?
I agree with your definition for the most part, but I
Okay.
think that I also agree with the comment that it's the person that we typically don't look at. Like it's good men in plain sight.
Okay, so you say it's good men in plain sight. Now, okay, I got two quick questions, right? All right, because this is the Pollywood podcast. I gotta ask. Number one, would you ever be in a polyamorous relationship?
No,
Okay, so that means you wouldn't be for having two men or for being one of multiple women, correct?
Correct.
All right. Question number 2. Question number 2. If you saw what I put up earlier, it was our little icebreaker question. And says, would you let your significant other work at Hooters? Now, that's basically for the men that call in or whatever the case may be. But
Mm-hmm.
do you have a for a woman, is there a place where you say, I don't think I could date a man who works there? Do you have any places you can think of?
Any strip club
Okay.
and like a porn star.
Okay, so porn star in a strip club. Okay, so then my question is, it don't matter what his job is at the strip club.
Correct.
So he could be security, DJ, bartender. None of those work.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, I appreciate you calling in. And you know what? Shoot, since you're the first caller, I might as well test out this money wheel to see if everything else is going to work. So congratulations for being our first caller. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make you our first winner of the night. So here we
Okay.
go. All right, congratulations. Hold on, let me see. She said, how can she call in? I don't know why. I'm gonna go put the link on Facebook. Give me 1 second, Sam. I'm gonna go ahead and spin this wheel real quick. So let's see if this works. All right, so let's spin this money wheel real quick, and let's see how much you're gonna get this cash out for. Here we go. Hopefully this will work. All right, you can still hear me, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. Here we go. All right, you can see the wheel?
No.
No?
It might be delayed though.
All right, hold on. Let me get it up over there.
Okay, yeah, I see it now.
Okay, well, let me put it back because I just took it off. All right, so here we go. All right, can you see it now?
Yes.
All right, here we go. How many times you want me to spin it? Or how
you
many
can spin
times?
more than
Well,
one.
technically, how many times do you want me to hit the space bar?
Let's do 3.
All right, here we go. All right, congratulations. You have won $1.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. I mean, yeah, it's random. So congratulations, you have won $1. So you know, you can go ahead and you can message me your cash app or whatnot, and we'll go ahead and make sure we get that $1 to you. I feel bad. Hold on, man. You're the first one to call in. Let's try that again. I don't like that $1, man. I don't want the first person to call in to just get $1. Let's try that again. Hold on, one time.
Okay.
Let's try that again. All right, here we go. Woo! I don't know, man. You might
All right, we doubled the earnings. Okay.
Hey, man, you doubled up, man. You doubled up. So, congratulations. You know what? We feeling so generous tonight. We just gonna combine it to do $3. I know, man. It's been a beautiful night tonight. But I got another caller. So, if you can, you can just leave your cash app tag on you watch this. However you watching this on YouTube or whatever the case may be. But I got another caller. Look like she wants to check in. Well, I don't want to assume nobody's gender, but I'm assuming this is somebody that's a woman. It better be for this name. But you have a wonderful night, and I appreciate you checking in.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So sometimes the wheel don't necessarily do what it wants to. So let me go ahead and drop the link in Facebook. I don't know why, for some reason, the Facebook didn't get connected to the chat, but okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and make sure I get on here. So it should say that I'm live right now. Let me scroll down to that. Okay, cool. So All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link into. All right, so I just dropped the link into the Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, then now you can call in as well. But I do have somebody else joining us right now. Let's make sure they can hear us. Uh, Eden, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Eden, where you
Yay.
calling from?
Where I'm calling from?
I mean, like city wise, geographically. You know what I mean? Not like I don't need like your actual location like that. You know what I mean? Like, what city you calling from?
Calling from New York, NYC.
Okay, NYC. Oh, this is gonna be very
Yeah.
interesting because,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know how New York things are. The last person called from Atlanta, and she gave her definition. So I want you to do the same thing. How would you define a good man? This is what I define a good man is, but I want to get your opinion. And you can see that you can see us, right?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, I just want to just make sure. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it back up because I don't know if you saw it, but just in case you didn't, I'm gonna put it back up one more time for my definition. I said a good man is a man that is financially, physically, and spiritually responsible for his children, family, and affairs. Okay, so Miss Eden, how would you define a good man?
Um, I think that I would define it in a lot of the ways that you defined it.
Okay.
I feel like a good man has to be grounded, just like you said, spiritually, financially, has to be responsible, and prioritize,
Hmm.
and also be able to love God more than he loves anything else. Because if he doesn't love God, he can't love you.
Okay. So you would take the spiritual component, I guess, a step further and say like God needs to be a part of it, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there
Absolutely.
anything else in the just your baseline definition? So you can say somebody says, "Oh, I have a good man. They meet this." Is there anything else that you would add into that?
Um, Let me see. I mean, I yeah, there are some other things. I think that communication is a big thing. I
Okay.
feel like I feel like with men, and I could be wrong. I don't want to stereotype nobody on here,
Yeah.
or stereotype men, but I feel like it's kind of it's harder for men to be open about their feelings more than women. I
Okay.
feel like you know, men men don't necessarily find it easy to be vulnerable. And I think that like you have to be vulnerable to your spouse in order to properly communicate. So I
Hmm.
think that communication is something that's huge, that, I feel like also makes a good man, like his ability to tell his wife what he does or doesn't like, or you know the things that hurt him or upset him or even make him happy. So I think that's another thing too.
Okay. Now I want to kind of ask you one little question about that because I like something that you said. Um, Now my question is, where does the man find that fine line, right? Because isn't there a fine line between being too emotional? Isn't there a fine line between being like when you say vulnerable? I think
Mhm.
sometimes I'm not trying to speak for somebody. I can speak for myself. Sometimes when I hear that word vulnerable, sometimes if it's like I think there's a fine line that you can reach. Um, but I think sometimes that's when you kind of get to that. I want to say only word I can think of is like they might call you soft or they might call you a punk or some
Mhm.
other word. You know what I mean? Because it's like maybe you're a little bit too open, too vulnerable. I think sometimes as men, we kind of sort of like to kind of sort of put that force field around and say, okay, look, we'll be vulnerable about some things, but it's certain things that we're just going to kind of make sure we keep that space separated. You know what I mean? Like, does that make
Mhm.
sense? So, can you kind of pinpoint what's maybe okay? Give me an example of being uh um too emotional, if you can think of one.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. I think an example of being too emotional would be not a man who can't take any sort of criticism from his wife or his woman.
Okay.
Like if you are unable to take any sort of criticism, I mean, it could be considered, that can be considered toxic as well. But I know that like certain things trigger certain people, and certain things, if a man is like too overly sensitive to your criticism as your wife, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's bad. um I feel like that's like too emotional, and I think that like I know a lot of situations where people've been in relationships like that, where um some men are just like too like sensitive to criticism. Also,
Okay.
mama's boys,
Okay.
that's a whole different thing.
Whew,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that can go pretty deep. And
Yeah,
okay, so kind of on that whole thing, is it okay for a man to cry?
absolutely.
Okay. Now, are there certain specific reasons? I mean, okay, is there a reason for a man not to be crying? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
okay,
there is
give
a
me an
reason.
example why a man shouldn't be crying.
um
Because I would say, okay, crying, okay, let's say like birth of a child. Okay, if he's getting married, I wouldn't have no issue with that.
mhm.
Sometimes you just get emotional. It is what it is, but it could be a joyous thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily just because you're crying doesn't mean like you're crying because you're sad or something like that. But even like a death in the family or something like a death of a loved one,
Mhm.
friend, I could understand that as well. So
Mhm.
I was gonna say, is there a situation where you be like, nah, you shouldn't be crying up like that? You know what I mean?
um that's a good question.
Okay.
Because even though I do know what's out there, it's still kind of hard to answer.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's it would depend on the situation, because every situation is different. I feel like there's certain triggers that I would like. For example, if let's say, you know, for example, a husband and wife, they're
Okay.
married, they're having financial issues,
Okay.
and the husband ends up getting fired from his job and he starts crying. I could understand why he would be crying.
Mhm.
To some other women, that probably be will be too emotional, because they would probably be thinking, well, right now we need a leader, we need someone who's going to step up now. You got fired, you need to step up. But as an example, I think that that's good to say, as far as like certain things, you don't know what triggers certain things, so it's kind of hard to answer. But I do know that it is a such thing as men being overly emotional. I just can't get a good example right at this moment.
Okay, cool, no problem. All right, well, once again, since you since you came on, I got a little like our little icebreaker tonight, and this was for the men, but I want to see if you can think of a certain I guess why can't I talk right now? I just want you to see if you can think of an equivalent for women. And that was the icebreaker, which basically said, would you let your significant other work at Hooters? So my question to you is, as a woman, okay, and there's the other
Mhm.
two questions I gotta ask you, right? Because this is name of the show is Pollywood, right? So sometimes I talk the basis of the show is polyamory, polygamy, polygyny, all that good stuff, right? So
Mhm.
the first question I have is, would you ever be in a situation where you were, I guess, where you were, kind of, what is it, with multiple men? Like, would you want to be in a situation that was polygamous for women? I forget what it's called. Forgive me for not knowing. But could you ever see yourself in something like that, being with two men at the same time?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Could you see yourself being in a polygamous situation where you were a sister wife?
No.
Okay. And the last question is, how do you see can you think of any job that you wouldn't want a man to have that would kind of sort of give you the same vibes? Like, it's no disrespect if you work at Hooters or we got places down here called Twin Peaks and the Tilted Kilt and stuff like that. They're just kind of like sexually explicit towards women. They're not like a strip club or anything like that. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
everybody knows what you Hooters is. The food ain't that great. You know what I mean? So everybody knows kind of why you're going there. So can you think of a place where you would say no, I don't feel comfortable with my boyfriend or whatever working there?
Um, let me see. I mean, men can work at strip clubs too.
Right. And I think the first caller, Joy, she said a strip club. And I said, okay, so does it
Yeah.
matter what they're doing at a strip club? Because I think I mean, well, technically at a strip club, there's technically about 4 or 5 positions they can have. They can, first of all, be a stripper. They could be a manager. They could be a DJ. They could be a
Hmm.
bartender, or they could be security. So is it any one of those 5? So would you have a problem with your boyfriend or significant other being an actual stripper?
Yes, I would. I
Okay.
would have an issue with him being an actual stripper, and I would also have an issue with him if he was a DJ DJing anywhere around naked women. Yes, I would.
Okay, so that was the one, like I said, that Joy had. Can you think of any other job that might be like, nah, I don't want my man working there? Can you think of anything else?
Let me see.
I ain't
Um,
gonna lie. I mean, the reason why this came up is because me and the missus was having a conversation about, she was thinking about possibly changing her job, and she
mhm.
asked me, she said, "Would you mind if I waited tables?" And I was like, "You gonna have your clothes on, right?" And she was like, "Well, of course." And I was like, "Well, why would I care if you was a waitress?" You know what I mean? But then I thought about
Yeah.
it, and have you ever waited tables before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you don't like. I ain't gonna lie, man. It goes down in a restaurant. I don't care if you married, you're not married. Like it's like I don't know no restaurant where it's like at least half the staff is not romantically involved. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes with the restaurant, it's like even though I'm like, yeah, I don't care if you're a waitress or whatnot, and you want to have that trust. Sometimes just restaurants, period. It's a whole nother thing to be getting all the people coming on for Hooters and all the rest of that stuff. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
it's another thing to be, in a restaurant, working in that environment, have managers working close with people. But yeah, I that's the only one I can. I would even say
Yeah.
I don't know. The restaurant industry has a bad history of just jacking up relationships sometimes.
I can see that. I definitely can see that. I think that it's more like I think women it's more jobs out there that would be inappropriate for a woman, especially one who's in a relationship than it is for men. I feel like there's like the standards for men are totally different. So like they're not like you don't it's not normal for a man to no I shouldn't say normal. Let me get my words right.
Okay.
It's not people are not used to men being sexually like exploited the same way that women are. So
Right.
like the jobs that like men have it different. Like I can't describe it, but women, like you can be a bottle girl. You don't even have to be a stripper no more. If you're a
Yeah.
bottle girl, you get to walk around the club in a G-string with pasties on, and
Wait a minute.
and
That's what
on
model girls do.
yeah,
I
especially yes, they do. They walk around with
well,
nothing.
knock bottle girl off of my list of things too, because I was like, I wouldn't mind, but never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, like the bottle girls in some of these clubs, they be naked. You don't even have to be a stripper no more. They let the bottle girls walk around with nothing. Some of the bartenders in certain clubs, you don't have to wear clothes. It's just a
Wow.
totally different standard for women now than it is for men.
Okay.
So, you know, if my man told me like, "Look, I don't want you," then that's I have to respect that, you know?
But what if that?
So,
Okay, now this is the last because I know I done kept you on here longer than other people, but I was kind of wait. I think we had somebody. I think I just saw King show up, but I think he just went back out, so he'll probably be checking back in. But my last question before I let you go. He's on what club is this? Yeah, shout out to Maurice checking in on Facebook, talking about what club is this, man, where they walking around with pasties on. We from Atlanta. I don't know. The bottle girls, they might walk around with like real short shorts, a tight shirt, and like some like fishnet tights, but I ain't never seen it with pasties on. But if you know the name of that
yes.
club,
Uh-uh.
yeah. I'm not saying I'm gonna visit. I'm just saying I might, even though I'm in the wrong city. But the last question that I have, and then like I said, thank you for calling in. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel for you as well. So basically, anybody who calls in tonight, man, I'm gonna spin the wheel for you for the last 19 minutes of the show. So hold on, King Aloe. I just got one more question. Would I think she already asked that. I don't even know how I was gonna make this like a big deal, but so you said stripper is out. I think Joyce said porn star was another one, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So I appreciate you calling in. Hopefully, the last person, I don't control this wheel. It's random. Hopefully you'll get more than $3, but we're gonna see how it goes. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and spin this wheel real quick and see how you do. And whatever amount it lands on, just we this is the Eden from Twitter, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and just you can DM me your cash app, and then whatever it hit on, that's what we're gonna go with. First of all, how many times do you want me to air quote spin it? How many times, or like hit the button? It's a little button I hit to spin it. How many times do you want me to hit it?
Hit it like 5 times.
5 times. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. Let's see if you got better luck than Joy here. Here we go. All right, so you got 12. So Joy got 2 spins. Do you want to walk with it? It's almost like the Price is Right. Do you want to walk with your $12, or do you want to try to risk it all and do it again?
Let's risk it all and do it again.
You want to go 5 times again, or you want to go a different number?
Let's go 5 times again.
All right, here we go.
This is funny.
All right, man. I don't know, man. This wheel is being a hater tonight, but man.
All right now, I'm grateful for my $12.
Hey, I appreciate you being grateful for your $12. Like I said, you can drop that cash app in my DM, and I'll go ahead and hook you up. I know it's New York, so that might get you a hot dog or whatever y'all eat up there. But I appreciate you tuning in tonight, and you have a blessed night, young lady.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Right, Aloe.
The $12 in New York could get her a small drink.
Well, I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the wheel, man. Hey, the wheel is the wheel, man. I asked you how many times you want me to spin it. It's random. I don't have no control over it. We just gonna have it go. But how you doing tonight, sir?
I am blessed and highly favored, sir.
Okay, that's what's up
blessed,
now,
man. Good night tonight.
Okay, and just for the people who maybe haven't watched the show before, haven't seen you on the show, can you tell people where you're from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. If you want to get technical, I'm from Lithonia, Georgia. I'm from DeKalb County. So
Okay.
Shout out to all my East Siders out there.
Okay, that's what's up.
From DeKalb County, Georgia, yes, sir.
No doubt. So I'm gonna go ahead and because you're the first male to call in for the night, let's go ahead and get the icebreaker out the way.
All right.
Would you let your significant other work at Hooters? We're in Atlanta, so we got the Tilted Kilt, and we got the what's the other spot? I don't know why I can't keep remembering.
We got Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. So, would you let your significant other, wife, girlfriend, whoever, work at one of these restaurants?
My wife know a significant other who I'm prospecting to be my wife. Know a girlfriend, somebody that I care about, but I'm not serious with.
Hold on. Let me address
maybe
real quick. I'm sorry.
Maybe I'm more lenient if this is like a fun girl, but my wife, hell no.
I got you.
No.
Just for the record, because I know Maurice, I know somebody was gonna say the whole let. When I say let, it's almost like you gotta look at it as being like when you're in that phase. It's not like we're together. This is when you first meet somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So it's almost like you personally, instead of saying like you're gonna control them and say, no, I don't want you working there. They already work here when you're together. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, would you let yourself, not let them, would you allow yourself to be with somebody that works at Hooters? I just wanted to say it that way. So let me clear that up for Mr. Carey in the building. But so you said wife no, somebody that's wife prospect? No. Even a girlfriend? No.
A
A
girlfriend,
girlfriend? No. But somebody you just
I
kicking it with?
mean,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like somebody that I care about, but I'm not serious with because I have deemed her not worthy of being taken too seriously. Sure, go work at
Okay.
Hooters, go work at Twin Peaks, go be a bartender at a strip club. You know, how you conduct yourself is up to you. That's your business. But if this is my wife, I've already married her. We already familyed up, ringed up, paperwork signed. Yeah, like why would I subject my wife, the mother of my children or the future mother of my children, to be got at by corny dudes who came to a Hooters to look at scantily clad women serve drinks and nasty food? Because that Hooters food is nasty as hell.
Okay. All right.
Hooters ain't hitting on shit.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So now the first question that I want to ask you is, as a
Yeah.
man, how would you define what is a good man? If somebody said, "Hey Tim, you're a good man," what would you think that means, or just how would you define the term, just in general?
That's a very loaded question. I appreciate the question. Like I love questions that make me think. So
Okay.
it's like a good man, just off the top of my head, a good man is somebody who's loyal to himself and loyal to his loved ones. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth out of respect and love for you, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I've lost some really close friends, all because I was willing to tell them the truth. So like somebody who cares about you, um, unapologetically is a good man.
Okay.
And in terms of a woman, in terms of a man dealing with his woman, yes, any man willing to sacrifice for his wife, his kids, um, be a provider for his family, and have his situation at home comfortable, then of course, like that's a stand-up dude. Ready?
Okay. Now, I would like to ask you the a flip side. How do you think women define it generally? If you could define it, as
Hold,
if you would
hold
say,
on one,
"This is what
hold
I
on,
think." Go ahead.
hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. How much
No
is that?
problem. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to my boy Maurice right there. He said, "Is there a line
We'll do that
between a
now.
good man and
Go
a
ahead.
good
You go ahead
person?"
and do it.
Um, that's a
Okay,
good
I'm back.
question,
Sorry.
Maurice.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
no, you're fine.
I'm
You're fine.
doing two things at
I was
once.
just
Somebody
Maurice
had
had a
approached me and
question.
asked me a question. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine. Somebody said, my boy Maurice says, "Is there a line between a good man and a good person, or are they one and the same?"
I wouldn't think so. I mean, if you're a good person, you're a good person, whether you're male or female. It just depends. Um, I mean, it's like I feel like a good person would also have your best interest. So
Okay.
it's like, so how can a good person, so how can you be a good person if you don't have a person's best interest? So it's like, it's it's all encompassing in terms of the definition of it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the question I asked before somebody came on, I had a question. He said, Maurice says, based on his description, a drug dealer that takes care of his family is a good man. Is that possible, in your opinion?
Is that possible in my opinion? Sure. I mean, why not? Because I mean, think about it. If you live in Colorado or California and you own a dispensary, you're a drug dealer.
Okay.
I mean, so like that's not a blanketed statement. Like that's not a brush that you can paint everything with. So
Okay. Now, before you were about to go to last one, before you, I guess somebody interrupt you or whatnot. My question
Right.
is,
Sorry about that.
no, you're fine. I was just going to ask, how do you think women define what a good man is? I don't know if you've been listening to a lot of the people before, but like I said, Joy said that she kind of agreed with the definition that I had, which is a man that is spiritually, financially, and physically responsible for his family, loved ones, and I just put it back up so you can kind of see it, even though the spiritual part is off the screen. But yeah, this basically says somebody's responsible for his family, children, and affairs, and that includes, like, of course, once you're gone and things like that. So that was my basic definition as well. So um how do you think a woman would define what she feels is a good man? Do you feel like it's close to that definition? Do you feel like it's something completely different? What do you think?
So just rattling off that list one more time. This person said a good man is spiritually sound, and what else?
This is a basic definition that I came with. A man that is financially, physically, and spiritually responsible for his family, children, and affairs.
Well, yes, that would be the textbook definition of a good man. Now, every a smart woman or a mature woman rather
Okay.
would label a good man, like because a good man is all encompassing. It's like he's spiritually sound, he's mentally sound, he's
Okay.
physically healthy to be there for his family, meaning
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to die at 55 years old of diabetes because he didn't take care of himself.
Right.
You know, and he chose a career path that would adequately provide for himself and lay a good foundation to build a family on. So yeah,
Okay.
like that's all the right. A good man is conscious enough to cover all those bases.
Right. So you would basically say that you believe men and women would have the same definition?
Okay, now being more specific, yes, a man would have that definition. A mature woman would have that definition. A not so mature woman
Okay.
or a younger woman or just a woman that's stuck in a childish mind state. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
right. Immature, basically. Right. Exactly. I'm saying a bunch of words to say immature.
Nah, you good, man.
But yes, but yeah, man. So, uh, I think most women would base a good man basically solely on resources and resources alone.
Okay.
Not concerned about his character, not concerned about his relationship with his family, his relationship with women in general. Like, just can this man provide for me? He's a good man so long as he can provide for me monetarily. Like, I think that's the overall definition that the average woman would have of a good man. It would be directly tied to his resources.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, I told everybody that when they called in, I forgot to hit my little thing right here. But congratulations for calling in tonight. Cause all right. So, like I said, everybody who called in tonight, man, I appreciate everybody, helping me get this content out there. So I appreciate everybody calling in for the night.
Of course.
So you get a chance to spin this money wheel tonight. So let me see something real quick. I got a comment here. All right. Let's go from here. So let's see. Let me go ahead and how many times do you want me to spin the wheel?
That's basic human instinct. That's also basic human bullshit. But whatever. All right.
Which one was that? I'm sorry. The basic. What happened?
Maurice Kelly says that's basic human instinct.
Mm-hmm. So I guess he's saying that he believes that. Well, I guess from what he's saying is that for a woman to want a provider is I guess would be like the basic human instinct to want somebody to provide for him.
But
But
that doesn't define a good man.
correct.
So again, like
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not gonna try to speak for Maurice. Maurice is the type of person where he will
yeah,
always let you know exactly. Because, like I said, we done had a couple of backs and forths on Facebook, and yeah, if he'll tell you exactly what he thinking, so it ain't really no big deal. But yeah, shout out to my boy tuning in. All right, so before we spin this money wheel, how many times? Oh, I'm sorry, because this is Hollywood. You know, I got to ask you the questions now because I know your situation. You can always plead the fifth. All right.
okay.
So the first part of it is, as we talk about polyamorous relationship, triads, polygamy, all this stuff on this podcast. The question number one is: would you ever be involved with one woman and another man? You and the man are not romantically involved, but y'all share the same woman.
Would I share a woman with a man?
With another man, yes, but you and another man are not romantically involved.
No.
Okay, so you wouldn't knowingly do that. All right, second question. So once again, you can always plead the fifth if you do not want to answer. Would you be
Sure.
involved with would you be into polygamy, meaning you and more than one wife? Could you could that ever be a possibility for you in your life? Or would you ever, I'm sorry, the question I asked everybody else was would you consider it?
Would I consider it? Absolutely, sure.
Okay. All right. And all right. So we've come to the point, man. Let's spin the money wheel at this point. How many times you want me to spin this, guy?
Uh, well, let's try my luck. Olowo means the owner of money. So let's see how much
Yeah.
mojo I have tonight.
All right, let's see, man, because something's telling me you about to get paid because I was like,
Let's see.
Eden got 12 twice. Joy got 1, and then I felt bad, and I spent it again. I spent it again. So I was like, so let's just do this. So you said, how many times we gonna spend it?
uh, two for good measure. Two for good measure.
Oh, 2. All right, so we doing a lot.
I was gonna say one, but why not two?
All right,
Why
so
not
2.
two?
All right, so here we go. Let's see if you got a little bit more luck. All right, here we go. What's something telling me? Something telling me I'm about to be cash apping you a lot of money. I don't know why, but I was like, man, the women came on and got $1, $2, and 12, and watch you hit $1.50 or something like that. All right, so here we go.
Let's see.
Let's spin the wheel 2 times. $6. Well,
$6. Okay.
I'm gonna do the same thing I did with Eden. Do you want to risk it all and try to go for a bigger number, or are you happy? Your boy probably getting you well, you can't get nothing at Popeyes. You might better get 1 chicken sandwich with that. You want to risk it all and spin again, or you want to stay there?
Let's spin it one more time. Because again, two's a good charm. Two's a
Okay,
charm.
so you want to roll it 2 more times?
I mean, one more time. Well,
Okay, so
I
this
get
time
two
you
more
want me to
times?
spin 1
I
time.
get 2 more?
No. What I'm saying is, how many times you want me to hit the button and spin it? 1 time, 2 times, 3, 7, 10?
How does it work? Like, will it keep spinning as you hit the button?
Yeah. When you said spin it 2 times, I clicked the button twice.
Oh, that's how it works. Okay, let's spin it 3 times.
All right, here we go. He had $6 the first time, and the survey says, "I knew it." A $1.50. I freaking knew it.
Ashay. The magician never reveals his secrets.
I
Ashay.
knew that was gonna happen. Man.
Ashay.
That was not. I swear to God.
I am King Olowo. I am the owner of money.
Yeah,
Give me my money, sir.
Go ahead and cash out, bro, but yeah, I got somebody else checking in, man. I do appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Man.
Oh,
but,
yes, sir.
You are now
Blessings.
$150 richer, and I guess your $6 your $6 investment went very well, man. So shout out to King of Lowo checking in and just hit me up for $150. But it's what I do, man. I don't mind blessing the people, man. They say you are blessed to be a blessing. I believe somebody said that. I don't know. That probably ain't in the Bible nowhere, but that's probably something they said at church. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my final call. I think my boy Maurice. I'm gonna put the link back in there, but let me check in with Sam real quick. All right, Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you, Solomon?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'll use my government name. I'm just playing. Nah, it's
Oh,
cool.
my
Nah,
bad.
you're fine. Everybody know. I mean, I don't hide my name. My name is Solomon. I mean, everybody who knows me knows my real name. So it's not
Well,
that.
you
It's not
called me
like a
Sam.
secret.
I tell people I'm Samantha, but I did put Sam on the screen though. So yeah, you good.
Correct. So how are you doing tonight, and where are you calling from? I mean, it's pretty obvious where you're calling from because we know each other. But just tell the people out there, just for the sake of the people who are gonna catch us on the replay, where are you
Georgia.
calling from?
Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, the first question we had was, how do you define a good man? And I believe you put that in the chat from earlier. Now, my question is, do you have anything you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I feel like a good man. They're consistent. I think it's consistency. Actions speak louder than words. And also it takes time for us to grow to even understand ourselves to know what type of man we might deserve in our life.
Mhm.
Because I won't lie, for a long time in my life I thought the man that I was with was what I wanted and needed. But now that I am older and I have experienced a good man, what I consider to be a good man, I
Mhm.
if I'd have known then what I know now, I would have probably expected more from the man that I'd spent so much of my life with. um
Correct.
yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's what I want to say, Carrie. I dropped the link in the Facebook, so if you see it, all you gotta do is click on that. You can decide whether or not you want to be on camera, and you can go from there. But yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I think sometimes what you might have thought was a good man, or the same thing for me, right? What I used to think a good woman was, you know what I mean? It evolves.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, it
evolves
does.
over time. So
We change as people, and we decide at some point we're tired of being dealt a certain hand, and in order for that to change, we have to change what we're doing. And so, uh, it took a long time for me to realize that. So, I mean, a good man, there's so many different forms of it, and for me, a good man might not be for what the next woman might think a good man is.
right.
Yeah.
And I know, like my sister, like, because for a long time, if you ask me what was a good woman, right, my
Mhm.
sister would tell you that for Solomon, a good woman is a woman that is attractive, long hair, and a nice size chest. Like that. That's him. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted. That's what I did. That's what she always saw me with. But as I got over time, I was like, the physical. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still enjoy the physical aspect, but it's like I needed so much more than that.
You're
Then
right.
over time, it evolved, and I couldn't just be with what I used to call a beautiful dummy. No
Mhm.
disrespect to anybody I used to date. If you're watching, I'm not calling you a beautiful dummy. I'm just saying some of y'all were, but if you're watching, definitely not you.
Don't
Um,
worry, a good man had broad shoulders for me.
there you go. There you go. So the next question I would like to ask you is, we talked about the Hooters aspect. Okay, so for a man, I'm not necessarily sure, and it's no disrespect to women that work at Hooters. I understand you got to make a living, but I think that it's this preconceived notion that, not meaning that you're going to sleep with every man that goes into Hooters or anything like that. It just basically means that you're going to be hit on a lot. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You're going to have to deal with a lot working there.
Yeah.
So we've heard strip clubs and things like that. Can you think of an equivalent for a woman that would be like a strip club for you? Like you would say, I wouldn't want my man to work there, or do you have any kind of place where you wouldn't want your man, significant other, husband to work?
Look, I had a man that didn't work for 17 years. I don't give a darn what he did.
So he
No,
could be a
I'm just playing.
bartender.
I'm just playing. If
Okay.
I trust him, I think that anywhere that he works, like if as long as I trust him, like, but that's something that you have to have. If you don't have trust and you don't believe that he could work somewhere and not be enticed by the women or step out of the relationship, then what's the point? But I
Mhm.
wouldn't like him to be around women. But I mean, if that was the job that he got, I mean, I might pop up a strip club on occasions.
Yeah, and I think that would be kind of acceptable. Like, hey, I'm just gonna come to the club tonight because I'm bored and you're gonna be there, so that's
Yeah.
the way for me to get around you. It makes a little sense, but yeah, I think kind of sort of the strip club or the sexually expensive stuff. Somebody else named a porn star. Uh,
Yeah.
I think I don't think anybody wants their wife or husband, significant other to be a porn star.
I
So
definitely agree with that one.
so no doubt. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate those answers and I appreciate you calling in. Like I said, everybody, I'm gonna end it with Maurice tonight. Um, but congratulations. I'm gonna let you spin this money wheel as well.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here we go. So before I spin the wheel, how many times would you like me to spin it?
Twice.
You'd like me to spin it twice. All right. Well, good luck. King Lobo was the big one of the night. Somehow he got 150. So we're gonna see how this one goes. So here we go.
All right.
All right, so you have $30. Would you like to risk your $30 and spin again, or are you good with $30?
I'm gonna take $30, honey. I've seen how that will work tonight.
You are going to take $30, and you are watching me on Facebook, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, cool. Well, go ahead and just DM me your Cash App, and I'll go ahead and make sure you get your $30 tonight. And I appreciate you tuning in. Oh, I forgot to ask you the other questions real quick. Wait, hold on, where'd Maurice go? I think he might have fell off real quick, but I'm gonna give him about a couple of minutes to come back in. Maybe he was trying to get his situation set up. But because it's Pollywood, like I said, most of the time I talk about relationships on this show. I am going to bring on some people who are involved in things like triads, polygamy, polygyny, all these different things. So my question to you, number one, is would you ever desire to be in a relationship with multiple men, like two men share you?
No.
Would you ever be in a relationship where you were a sister wife and it was one man and multiple women?
No. No.
All right. Well, Sam, I do appreciate it. I hope you be safe out there. It was very nice talking to you again. I said, make sure you tune in again because I'm gonna probably be doing this every week. I got to set on a day. I like Tuesday because it's Monday. People starting to watch a lot more football, so it's a little easier to do this date. But I appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, thank you for watching. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Maurice and I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you. Maurice, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You are extremely low because I think your mic's pretty low.
All right, stand by. Stand by.
No problem. It's like I can hear you. Okay, now you're coming in a lot louder. Whatever you did, you.
How about now?
Yeah, now you good. How you doing, bro?
All right, cool. I'm chilling, man. Chilling. Been a long time. How's everything going?
Everything is great. If y'all look on the screen, you see this man got the MPK. This guy is I'm praying, he's the next Black Panther. That's my goal. So I can say I know him. So I'm really hoping he get the T'Challa role. So I can say I got a famous friend, and then I'm gonna come back to this show and be like, hey, I had him on my show one time. I'm gonna use that for all the clout I can milk out of it. But brother, how has life been treating you?
It's real good, man. Really, really good. Some really major things coming up top of 2022, man. And I'm really, really excited about it. So I appreciate you asking.
No doubt. And just for the people out there, man, because I want them to see if I know I've seen you on some shows and things. Because you just give like a maybe quick little list of some things where people could see you, or maybe would have not seen you. You know what I mean? But just like some different movie shows, whatever. Just real quick, just like some things that you've been in.
Well, I mean, there's MacGyver. There's
okay.
Now the main one that I want to talk about is what's coming up. It's called The First Ladies. It's going to be on Showtime.
Okay.
And it's about the first ladies of the presidency over the years, and the segment that I'm with is Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Being played by Viola Davis.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's me and Viola Davis. Yeah, me and Viola Davis.
Okay. All right. Hey, what they say? Say no more. Say no more. I want to put that on the hook. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to that. I'm gonna have to go ahead and subscribe to Showtime. When is that dropping? You said next year?
Top of next year. We haven't got a date. I just filmed a few more scenes because I'm actually boxing with Viola. I play her personal trainer of 20 years.
Okay.
So yeah.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. I'm ready already. I'm about to go ahead and as soon as I find out that thing is dropping, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for Showtime, man. Just make sure you keep me aware because I also talk about my podcast. I'm trying to get bigger. I ain't Kevin Samuels level or nothing like that. You gotta start somewhere. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, but listen, real talk. Because I'm proud and I'm excited for what you're doing. I've been trying to get into it, but like I see what you're doing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's squad right there. That's squad. Money grab. Money grab. You know,
No doubt.
when
No
it's that
doubt.
time, I'm coming on your show first. Better
I,
know that.
once again, man, I appreciate it, man. You have, hey, once again, we gonna get in that later. Let's go ahead and get in this
Let's
because
do
like I
it.
said, we can talk for a whole another hour, but yeah, I gotta go actually do some work after this. But
Okay. All right.
number one, let's go ahead and get the question out of the way. How would you define a good man?
Man, it's such a oh man, it's such a broad term. I see now when I'm hit with the question, it's different. But
Yeah.
it's such a broad term. You know what? For me, um, know your morals, stand on your morals, you know, and believe in your morals, you know, and then and just stand your ground. You know what I mean? Like don't let the world define you. You know, I
Okay.
am who I am, and I am this man. And regardless of how you feel, or regardless of how, you know, maybe you think I might be too strong or too this is who I am.
Okay.
And I'm going to protect you, and I'm gonna protect myself. You know what I mean? So I I guess the short version is just to protect, you know, and provide and protect, and stand on that.
Okay. Now I like those answers. Now the second icebreaker question of the night
Okay.
was, and I
Oh
know
God.
you got me on the should now or let. Now
Right.
we not saying you control your woman and you ain't gonna work here. It's just
Right. You
saying
good?
you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying. If a
Right.
young, like I told you my situation, Mrs.
Yeah.
came to
No.
me and said she wants to wait tables. I was like, cool. I'm thinking like, a cantina or something like that. I'm not thinking Hooters, Tilted Kilt, something like that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, would you be okay with your significant other working at like a Hooters, a Tilted Kilt, or a spot like that?
Well, there's levels, and I'm gonna be real. There's levels to it. You know, just
Okay.
like you have your friend. You know,
Mhm.
quote unquote, your friend.
Air quotes,
You
yeah.
have You got right. You got your the girl you're dating. Then you
Okay.
got your fiance. Then you got your wife.
Okay.
Now, as those levels progress, and as those ideas progress, then a man with himself has to go. Okay, am I okay with this? Like, am I still comfortable? Because you met her doing this, so
Right.
you're cool with it. But then, as she becomes more serious, that's
Mhm.
when you have. So, depending on the level, it will change. You know what I mean? Like, if we just kick it, I don't care what you're doing. Go get your money, because then you ain't asking me for none.
There
You
you go.
know what I'm saying? You ain't asking me for no piece of money. So,
Right. I
so
got you.
right. So then but then when things become more serious,
Mhm.
then you have to question that. Like, okay, am I still cool with it? Okay, we still ain't there yet. So yeah, I'm cool with it. But then afterwards, when you start talking about family, future, marriage, things like that,
Yes.
at that point, you again have to revisit that. And you have to ask yourself, are you okay with it? And then you'll have a conversation. Look, babe, I'm okay with it, or I'm not okay with it. And if you're not okay with it, I go back to standing on what you believe. Well, then we probably won't go any further, because I'm not okay with that. Or I am okay. Let's keep going.
Okay. That is a very respectable answer. And
Right.
once again, brother, like I said, I do appreciate you calling in.
My
And
pleasure.
like I said, everybody's gonna call in, so I'm gonna go ahead and spin the money wheel for you as well. Uh, so how many times would you like me to spin the wheel, sir?
They say three times the charm, so knock that thing three times for you. Bye.
All right, 3 times. Here we go. So let's see here. All right, so the screen should be up in a second. All right, so here we go. You said 3 times, correct?
Three times.
You can see it, right?
Yeah, please believe.
All right, so here we go. Woo! Woo! Do you do you want to risk it all that 150 for anything less than the highest thing on the board? But congratulations, man! Congratulations to you. I don't know, ladies. I don't know why it seemed like the men had the luck as far as the money goes tonight, but
Right.
shout out to you, man. Like I said, DM me your cash app. I'll go ahead and shoot that to you.
I got you.
Tonight, brother. But like I said, man, I hope it can be a blessing to you, man. I do appreciate you. It's a blessing for you to tune in. I really appreciate you calling in because it makes the show so much easier because y'all bring the content to it. It makes it a whole lot easier when you be sitting here talking to yourself. It's like, man, somebody, please, please, you know what I mean? Like, man. So, man, appreciate you calling in, man. Good luck with
My
everything.
pleasure.
It's definitely going to be shouting to the rooftops when the First Lady show comes on Showtime. But
Yes,
brother, like I
sir.
said, make sure you DM me your cash app. I'm gonna shoot that right to you, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, you be cool, be
Have a
safe.
good night. Yes, sir. All right. Whew. I gotta go ahead and cut these callers off, man, before I be I'm gonna go ahead and cut them off now, man, because y'all taking too much of my money. You know, what's that show? What it used to be Win Ben Stein's money. Well, you know, y'all are taking your boy MoneyGram's money tonight, but it's all good, man. Like I said, once again, I've been very blessed lately. So everything that I'm gonna give away tonight, it's gonna come back to me this weekend anyway. I'm not worried about it. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Hollywood. I want to thank all my callers, Joy, Eden, Sam, King Alowo, and Maurice. Y'all have made this show, man, easily my best show ever. I appreciate it. We're gonna be back next Tuesday doing the same thing. I'm trying to get somebody on. I'm trying to get a special guest on so we can have a little bit more conversation. But I do like the call-ins. So if you do want to call in, just let us know. Appreciate you, Sam, for tuning in. But yeah, this has been Hollywood, man. And like I said, I just hope everybody out there stays safe. If you got a significant other, you got a loved one, whoever it is, man, make sure that person knows how you feel about them because it's crazy out here in this world. And RIP to Norm McDonald died today, man. So it's like you never gonna know when that time is, man. So if you got a loved one, significant other, shoot your shot. You understand what I'm saying? If you got somebody you've been looking for or somebody that you've been looking at, the worst they can tell you is no. So I'm gonna tell you to shoot your shot as well. So just make sure that you are maximizing all the time you have left on this earth. But until next week, man, I've been Money Graham. See y'all next week.